Hi, Dr. Amador. Thank you for joining us today. Your work has been such a gift to individuals and families dealing with severe mental illness. Like a lot of people, I first learned about your book and your work when dealing with a mental health crisis in my own family. We were in a situation with a loved one who was very ill, but refused all help. And we tried everything we could think of, but nothing helped. And things were actually getting worse. And then someone recommended your book, I Am Not Sick, I Don't Need Help. And that started us on a new path that completely transformed the situation. And that's why I'm so thrilled to be introducing you to HelpGuide's audience and getting this information out there to someone who needs it. So once again, thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm really glad to be here. I'm glad the book helped. Really glad to hear that.
So you've had a long career as a psychologist, a therapist, and a researcher specializing in severe mental illness. But you've also experienced it personally through your relationship with your brother, Henry. Can you tell us about that and how it's influenced your work?
Yeah, it was a huge influence. I mean, Henry and I were very, very close growing up. We'd immigrated from Cuba. We were refugees, very poor, very scared. Our father had been killed in the revolution, and Henry was more than an older brother. He was a father figure. I mean, really close relationship. And why am I telling you all this? Because later in his mid-20s, and I was in my early 20s, he developed schizophrenia, and I started talking to him, really concerned. You're hearing voices. You've got these really scary, improbable, implausible ideas. He had delusions, and I was trying to, convince him to get help. And he kept saying, he's the one who named the book, years before it was written. He said, "I'm not sick. I don't need help." Then he accused me. He said, "You're the crazy one, not me." I never called him crazy. And it was through that really, I tried to do everything that most of us do, which is try to explain to him what was wrong and show my concern. That didn't work. That just pushed him away. That just made him angry. That just isolated him from me and everyone that was trying to help him. And then I learned, as I was becoming a clinical psychologist, how to stop talking, how to ask myself, wait, which is an acronym in my world for why am I talking? Why am I talking if I'm just pissing him off? Why am I talking if I'm just pushing him away? And start listening, asking him, what does he want? What do you want? Well, I want you to stop calling the police on me to drag me to the hospital. Okay, well, let's see if we can work that out. I want to get a job. I want a girlfriend. I want, talking to him about what he believed, what he needed, and not judging it and being respectful. And it led to his accepting treatment. Within 6 months of me stopping trying to convince him he was mentally ill and needed treatment, within 6 months of me saying to him, "I'm sorry for all the times I told you you were mentally ill, and I'm sorry for all the times I told you you needed medication." Within 6 months of those apologies and my promise to never say those things again, he accepted treatment. And he stayed in treatment for almost 20 years, for the rest of his life, long-acting injectable medication. And when I asked him, "Can I talk about Henry a lot?" And he's written about in my book that you mentioned. I said, people ask me all the time, "Do you think you have mental illness? Do you think you have schizophrenia?" And he laughed and he said to me, "No, I don't have mental illness." I said, "So why are you taking these injections, this medication?" And he said, "Well, I do it for you and for mom and pops." These are two friends of his who ran the halfway house that he was living in, the supported living arrangement that he was in. So what's his answer? Two things. He never believed he was mentally ill, stayed in treatment for almost 20 years, and the reason was for relationships.
Mm-hmm.
That foundational experience. I'm sorry I went on for a long time, but that for me really is what started me being interested when I got my PhD and started doing research. Got me interested in this problem of poor insight, and then how do we help?
Mm-hmm.